this day, this time, in this place. Blessed us to have an assembly, of the true Jews, assembly of the Israelites. We come together from Shabbat to Shabbat, from new moon to new moon, and worship the Most High Yahweh. For he is worthy to be worshipped. Huh? Right? He does so much for us that we can only be compelled to do what is required of us. All right, so now the portion is still in the Passover scriptures. Next week's portion, we pick it back up with Leviticus 9. But we're still in the portions of the Passover observance. So the portion for this Shabbat day is going to be Exodus, the 13th chapter. We're going to go through Exodus, the 13th chapter. We print out some more portion paper. Let's get Colossians 3, verse 17 first and foremost. Giving thanks to the Most High in the name of Mashiach Yahushua.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Right. All the things we do in word or deed, we always give thanks to the Most High in the name of the anointed Savior of Mashiach Yahushua. Because that's what is written, how we're supposed to, engage the Heavenly Father through his Son. All right. Give me Exodus 31 for now and 12. Before we enter into the portion, we're going to go on one scripture about the Sabbath day and why we gathered here today.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31, verse 12. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Most High that doeth sanctify you.
Right, so I'm the Most High that do sanctify you. When you keep the Sabbaths, you're showing that you are sanctified by you keeping the lessons of the Most High, and you're doing his will. And his will is that we are to gather on the Sabbath day, all right, and worship him and go through his scriptures, through his understanding, open up our Bibles, right, read his word and meditate on righteousness. Okay, read on.
Verse 14. Ye should keep the Sabbath, therefore,
right?
For it is holy unto you.
It's holy unto you. The righteous thing for you to do. Keep the Sabbath, therefore, because it's holy unto you. Read on.
Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death.
Come on.
For whosoever doeth any work therein,
right,
that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
Right.
6 days may work be done.
Right.
But in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest.
Right. So that's the Sabbath of rest. So you come here, you should be in a relaxed state, right? And relax to keep these commandments, to go over this word. If there's stresses and problems and tension, you gotta let it go. Because you come here to keep the Sabbath. You can't keep the Sabbath all wound up, worried about things, and your spirit is vexed and all kinds of stuff. No. It's the Sabbath. And that'd be the day where the spirit always try to get you wound up in something, right? They want to attack you on the Sabbath. Negative spirits going to come at you. Why? Because they know this is the day you're not supposed to deal with this. Historically, the heathen used to what? They try to attack us on the Sabbath day. Why? Because they know what? we wouldn't want to fight on the Sabbath day because we know that day was set apart. Our enemies have not changed. So Satan's going to try to attack you on the Sabbath day. He bring all kind of thoughts to you, all kind of situations, all kind of problems to you. At some point, you got to say, wait a minute, it's the Sabbath day. I will deal with this tomorrow. Right? Whatever issue it is, you know what? Tomorrow. When the sun goes down, I'm going to address this. But I ain't going to address it now. You know why? Because it's the Shabbat. And the Most High come first. Right? The first of all the commandments is what? What's the first of all the commandments? That's the first of the 10 commandments. Of the 2 greatest commandments, what's the first? No, that's the second. What's the first? Let's get it. Matthew 12:29. I'm sorry, Mark 12:29. Mark 12 and verse 29. What you want to notice when you read the 10 commandments, right? The first 4 commandments of the 10 commandments are pertaining to who? The first 4 of the 10 commandments. What's the first 4 of the 10 commandments? Somebody tell me the first 4. What's first 1? What's number 1? Know the God before me. Number 2. What's number 2? Graven images. Number 3. And number 4. The Sabbath day. Those 4 first commandments have to deal with who loving who? The Most High. So let's read the 2 greatest commandments.
The book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 28. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all?
Right? And when he said first, he didn't mean the first one spoken. Because what's the first commandment spoken? Who knows? That was spoken to man, I would say. Because I can go even before that, but I'll go to the first commandment spoken to man. What's that? That's right. You may eat of all the trees of the garden, but of the tree of good and evil, you should not eat of that. That's the first commandment spoken to man. Okay? But when he said the first commandment, he's saying, what's most important? What's the top commandment? All right? That's what he's asking him. So sometimes we read the word first or one, understand that that word has different meanings when you go into the Hebrew. Okay? So this is the most important commandment. Read.
Verse 29. And Yahweh answered him, the first of all commandments is, hear, O Israel. The Most High, our power, is one power.
Right. The first of all the commandments is Israel. That Israel must hear the Most High because he's our power. And what is he hearing? What does the Most High have to say to Israel? Read.
Verse 30. And thou shalt love the Most High thy power with all thy heart.
It says and. So this is all part of the same commandment, right? When you say and, you're adding something on to the same statement. So this is all the first commandment. So part of the first commandment is, hear, O Israel, Yahweh our power is one God. And you shall say unto them, read on.
And with all thy soul.
And that's how, wait, read it again. And from and.
And thou shalt love the Most High thy power.
And you shall love the Most High. Read on.
With all thy heart.
With all thy heart.
And with all thy soul.
With all thy soul. That's the first. That's represented by the first 4 commandments of the 10 commandments. He summed up the first 4 commandments when he said that. Your first 4 commandments has to do with your relationship with Yahweh. The last of the first 4 commandments is what? The Sabbath day. When you keep the Sabbath day, that's showing your relationship with the Most High. You understand that? That's not your relationship with your partner, your neighbor, your spouse, your children. That's your relationship with the Heavenly Father. Nothing goes before your relationship with the Heavenly Father. Okay, read on.
and with all thy mind,
Uh-huh.
and with all thy strength.
Come on.
This is the first commandment.
This is the first commandment, and you got to do it with everything. You got to fight to get this done. It won't come easy. There's always going to be things that try to pull you away from keeping that first love, right? Which is the love of the Most High. Doing what He wants you to do. There's going to be distractions. There's going to be drama, right? All kind of things be brought to you because it's the Sabbath. At some point, you got to realize, you know why this is happening? It's because it's the Sabbath. And the Sabbath is the time of, we're supposed to be concentrating on the Most High, yeah, not on our own stuff. Okay? Read on.
Verse 31. And the second is like, namely this.
So now we're about to sum up the next 6 commandments. What's the next 6 commandments now? What's commandment number 6? No. Who? Malachi? Honor thy father and thy mother. Right? Now you're dealing with what? Your relationships with the people in your life. Right? Honor thy father and mother. Respect your parents, right? So your days be long upon the land which how thy power is given thee. So it gives you long life. Right? Now we go into thou shalt not what? Murder. Right? Don't kill anybody. Thou shalt not steal. Right? Then don't take anything that doesn't belong to you. Then what's the next one? Nope. Just said it. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Right? That's the next one. Thou shalt not bear false witness. And the last one, thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not want something that belongs to that neighbor. What does it mean to bear false witness? Accuse somebody of something. We're not supposed to accuse people. If you don't know, you don't know. You know, you can't say, well, I think he did it. That's an accusation. He had to have done it. He had to have done it. That's why we got to be careful with the English language, because it makes us say things that's not of Yah. Right? You can't put that phrase in Hebrew. He had to have done it. You can't put that phrase in Hebrew. Right?
Does gossiping fall under the law?
Is what? Gossiping? Absolutely. Gossiping falls under false witness. A lot of it be based on covetousness, because you see what somebody else got, you and what somebody else got going on, right? Those be the main 2 that gossiping comes with. Tale-bearing, as the scriptures call it. Gossiping in the Bible is called tale-bearing, bringing tales of. The scriptures say, if you cannot do so, speak not of other men's lives. That's what the Bible says. Don't talk about other people and what they're going through, right? If it doesn't concern you. Says,
now, of the 10, are they also part of this?
That's right. In order for you
I
to.
don't know all the other,
613 commandments.
I don't know all the others.
But you know the dietary law, right? That's what I need. Pork, right?
Yeah.
Not eat shrimp, no lobster, no crab, right? So that's some of the 600 commandments. And honestly, when you start to go to the other commandments, you see, in order for you to keep the 10, really, you got to keep all the other ones.
That's right.
All right?
It's hard.
Yeah. It's not difficult. It's difficult to change. Change is hard. The commandments are easy. Change is difficult. Anytime somebody got to change, that's hard to do. Right? Real change is hard to do. All right? So no matter what it is, you know, some people, you know, they want to change their diet. And it's so hard for them. Oh, it's hard. No. The diet ain't hard. The change is hard. Okay? Once you get past the change, it's easy. Right? It's easy to keep the commandments once you get past that change. That period of you know, forcing yourself to do something that you don't normally do. All right? So, but that can you can get past that. And then it's clear roads after that. All right? So let's continue. So we understand that the Ten Commandments is summarized in the two greatest commandments. And the Ten Commandments itself is a summary of all the other commandments. So you can't say, well, I keep the 10, but I don't keep the dietary law. Because whose dietary law do you keep then? Because you have some law, some way, somebody told you it was okay to eat them baby back ribs. That person law you're keeping. Okay?
Can't eat ribs?
You can't eat pork, period.
Oh,
Right? So you can eat beef ribs. Right?
okay.
All right. Yeah. I'm not trying to take away your beef ribs now. You know what I mean? Right? You got, you got some good beef ribs, you cook it up. You bring some to the service. Absolutely. We all eat them up for you. All right. Let's go back to Exodus 31. I believe lamb chops, that's basically lamb ribs, isn't it? That's basically what it is. Right? Lamb chops. So, read. Verse 14 or 15.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
6 days may work be done,
Right?
but the seventh is the Sabbath of rest,
Right?
holy to the Most High.
Holy to the Most High. Come on.
Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death.
Come on.
Wherefore the children of Israel should keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generation, for a perpetual covenant.
For an everlasting covenant, never to end, perpetual, constant. Okay, it's important because they're going to want to take your Sabbaths away. The society wants to take your Sabbath from you. For many of us, they took it from us, and we had to fight to get it back. And now we get it back, we don't say perpetually keep your Sabbath holy. As a set apart time, a time to gather with your brothers, your sisters, that's serving the Most High God. Read on.
Verse 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever.
Right, that's a sign between us and the Father. How do we know we're waking up? Because we keep the Sabbath. If somebody ain't keeping the Sabbath, they can't tell me they're awoke. How are you awake? How are you awoken to the fact you're a Hebrew Israelite and you're not even trying to keep the Sabbath? You got to at least be putting that effort in to keep the Sabbath. That's a sign. A sign is showing you that how do I know that I'm awakened, that I'm living righteously? Well, I'm keeping the Sabbath. That's one of them signs. Read on.
The Most High made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
Mm-hmm. And was what?
Refreshed.
And he was refreshed. So every Sabbath day, you come here to get refreshed, recharged. You may hear something in the word that you haven't heard, in a long time, or you never heard before. And it's refreshing. You're again being encouraged to serve Yahweh. All week, all day, you got your media, your social media, your television. Nothing is encouraging you to keep the Sabbath and keep righteous. But when you come to the Sabbath service, right, you get that refreshing. Seeing other people keeping the Sabbath. You get to keep the Sabbath in the midst of them. And now you see as you go forth into the week, you're more encouraged to continue your connection with the Most High. But if you don't get that Sabbath in, the week just seems to go on and on and on and on. Like you don't get no break. Take that break on the Sabbath day. If there's something you've been doing all week, stop doing it on the Sabbath day. Right? Maybe some people, they switch off their TV on the Sabbath day. They say no TV on the Sabbath day. Because they do that all week. And they have their own way of showing the Most High, listen, I'm not doing this. The Father said no cooking on the Sabbath day. So we're not trying to find a way of circumventing that law, right? We just don't cook. on the Sabbath day. Everybody understand that? We cease to do what we've been doing all week. You might have been arguing all week.
That's right.
Right? But the Sabbath came. You got to say to each other, you know what? We'll pick this up after Sabbath. we'll resolve this after the Sabbath. But it's Sabbath right now. So we got to shut down. Right? That shows your obedience to Yahweh. And that's what he requires of us. Obedience. Right? Are you being obedient? That, only you can answer that question. Right? Am I being? Ask yourself. The scripture say, examine yourself. Right? Hold on. Give me examine yourself. I think it's 2 Corinthians 13. Hold it down. Give me that. Should be.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 5. Examine yourselves.
Do what?
Examine yourselves.
So this is what are we talking about? We're talking about examining our own self. Check ourselves out. Am I keeping the Sabbath right? Am I doing all I can do? You shouldn't have to have somebody to tell you what you can and cannot do on the Sabbath. Once you got the scripture, how does it manifest with you? What have you sacrificed on the Sabbath day? What you put away on the Sabbath day? Somebody might put away more than somebody else. Somebody might be in their house and don't want to turn on the light on their Sabbath day. If that's their move, if that's what brings them to a higher level of righteousness, amen. Who am I to tell you that? You want to walk around in the dark? That's what you are. It's a Sabbath day. All right. I might not come over. All right. But it's the Sabbath day, and that's the way you get down. All right. Read on.
Whether you be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves? How that Yahushua is in you, except ye be reprobates.
Except you be reprobates. What does that mean? Double-minded. Okay. You're not sticking with it. Don't be reprobated. Know the Most High is in you. Right? Make sure that you're doing what he wants you to do, especially on the Sabbath day and the high holy days. All right? We just came out of Feast of Unleavened Bread. I trust that everybody did not put leaven in their system, in their body until it was all closed out. Huh? Okay? That showed your obedience. Only you know that. I don't know if you did or not. That's between you and the Most High, but you examine yourself. Okay. Go back to Exodus. 17, come.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31, verse 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in the 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed.
Read.
And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony.
Right.
Tables of stone written with the finger of the Most High.
Right. So after he did that, he gave Moses these 10 commandments written by the power of Yahweh. Okay. Instructions on how to be righteous. So the 10 commandments are very important. As we venture into them, we realize there's a whole bunch more commandments that we need to follow in order to really keep the 10 commandments. Okay? In order to really keep it. All right, so the water for everyone coming out and keeping the Sabbath today. Make sure we're keeping it in mind and in body and in spirit. So we're going to go to the portion, which is Exodus 13, 17. 13 and 17 to Exodus 15, 26. Exodus 13, 17 to 15 and 26. Con, when you got it.
The book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 17. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh had let the people go,
Right.
that the Most High led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near, for the Most High said, lest preventure that the people repent when they see war.
Right, because the Philistines, if we'd have walked through their land, they would have rose up on us. All right, the Philistines would have not took that opportunity, would let that opportunity slide. Okay. You know.
And they returned to Egypt. But the Most High led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt.
To understand when he said by the way of the wilderness, it means that there was no developed walled cities where we was passing through. It was still a wilderness, meaning that it was not developed cities. Right? When you see forest land, or that's a wilderness. No shops, no stores, roads and lights and all that kind of just paths. So they would head through paths in the wilderness. Read on.
Verse 19. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you, and ye should carry up my bones away hence with you. And they took their journey from Succoth, and they camped in Etham, in the edge of the wilderness.
Come on.
And the Most High went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night.
Right, so we know what this pillar of the cloud is, right? What is it? It's the chariot of the Most High. All right, the chariot of the Most High Yahweh. Well, what the world calls UFOs, but for us, they're IFOs, right? Because UFOs is what? Unidentified flying object. But we know them to be IFOs. We know their identity. We know exactly what they are. Those are chariots of the Most High, right? They want to pass it off as they don't know. They want you to look for little green men and aliens to jump out there and try to steal your bodies or something, right? They come out with movies and stuff that you think a little green man with 3 fingers is going to come and do all this stuff. You got 3 fingers. How'd you get here? Right? Nobody thinks about that. How you develop all this technology with 3 fingers? Right? Doesn't make any sense. But movie magic, right, have you believe that there's aliens out there? X-Files, right? A lot of people believe there's aliens out there. People, extraterrestrials, living on other planets, and they can invade this planet. That's Esau's mockery of the angels. That's what he's trying to do. He wants you to think that they're aliens because he has seen things. And how do we know he sees things? We look at the description in the Bible, and that lets us know that the things that he saw were actual angels that he's trying to pass off as aliens. Okay? Let's look at something. Look at Zechariah 5:1. Zechariah 5, verse 1. Let's see why. Let's see what they look like. Read.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
A flying what?
A flying roll.
What's the shape of a roll? It's a circle. So when Esau draws these alien ships, what shape are they in all the time? It's a circle. All the time it's a circle. Unless you go to some more modern movies, he start making some other shapes out there. But the overwhelming majority of these space beings or spaceships are always a big circle. Why is it a big circle? Because he's trying to give you a definition just in case you come across one of these circles in the sky. He wants you to believe that it's an alien. He doesn't want you to understand that that's your salvation coming. He don't want you to know that. Okay? He trying his trickery. Just like he walks around and pretends to be you, pretends to be the Jew. He put his face over your face. The same thing he's doing with the angels of God. Saying, no, we're going to call them aliens. We're going to tell them those are UFOs. Don't tell them that it's the chariots of God. Because then they would have to what? They would have to show that they truly do believe in the power. Or they've seen the power. Okay, read.
Verse 2. And he said unto me, what seest thou?
Right?
And I answered, I see a flying robe.
Mm-hmm.
The length thereof is 20 cubits.
Right?
And the breadth thereof 10 cubits.
20 cubits by 10 cubits. When he looked up, he said it's about 20 cubits by 10 cubits. That's how big it looked to him in the sky. How long is a cubit? Roughly 18 inches to 20 inches. So if you got 20 cubits, right? That's quick math right there. Okay. I'm about to say, I know you're in college and everything, but hey, all right. 360 feet by 180 feet. Think about that for a moment. When you look up, 360 feet by 180, that's huge. It's like a what? A boat? Like a round ship. Like a round ship.
All right, but is that length and width?
Like an oval.
60 and the width?
I guess size, like the size, like a cruise ship in the sky. I guess I can see that. Right. Like a cruise ship, but oval. Right? But oval. You got to have that thought pattern of what it looked like to him. He said, what have thou seen? He said, this is huge. Right? Read. Imagine this. If it looked that big in the sky, that means it's actually bigger than that. Because when it comes down, so you got to think, he saw this huge thing in the sky, but that's how it looked in the sky. But when it come down, it's actually bigger. Right? Because you look at a plane in the sky, and it looks like, right? The higher it is, the smaller it looks. It's perspective. So he looked up and he saw this in the sky. We don't know exactly how high it is, but we know no matter how high it was, it's going to be bigger when it comes down. Read on.
Verse 3. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the earth. Meaning that this chariot is going to bring death, destruction. That's what this chariot is going to bring. How do we know that? Hold that and give me Isaiah 66 and 15. Isaiah 66 verse 15. Those I know, younger generation, I don't know if they saw Independence Day. You know, those old heads saw that.
There's a new one that came out, remember?
What is that? What's the new one?
A new one came out.
A new Independence Day?
Yeah.
The
new one came out with a young.
That's what I said. Us old heads seen Independence Day. I don't know about the young people they saw us. They saw it.
They saw a new version. It just came out like a year ago.
A year ago. Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
They got the same. They got the same ships like your own.
Same thing going on. Just newer people, and then probably like after that, and then they came back again. Yeah. Like
Okay.
after that movie.
Yeah.
They came back and they went to war again.
Oh, I didn't see that. All right, well.
I actually went to go see it, that's why.
Okay. Well, the ship's the same shape and everything, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's a good movie to see what this ship would look like. Because they depicted those ships the way the Bible depicts these chariots in that movie. All right, we know.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Most High will come with fire,
right,
and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
Right, he'll come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind. Okay, which direction does a whirlwind go in? Does it go straight? What direction does a whirlwind go in? It spins. So now you're seeing something else about this chariot. It's only like it's spinning. It's spinning. Just like when they do those movies where it's spinning. Okay. Read on.
To render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
With what?
With flames of fire.
So what's the curse that comes with this chariot? Flames of fire, right? And what's going to happen? What's this fire going to do? Is it cooking things? What is it doing? Let's see what it's doing. Read on.
For by fire and by his sword,
right,
will the Most High plead with all flesh.
Read on.
And the slain of the Most High.
And the what of the Most High?
And the slain of the Most High.
What does it mean to be slain? Killed. Read on.
Shall be many.
Shall be few.
Shall be many.
Shall be many. So that's what it says. This is the curse. When the Most High brings the drama on this earth, it's coming by way of his chariots. Everybody understand that? When he brings that fire, it's coming by his chariots. Go back to Zechariah. Christ said he's coming with his chariots to render his anger. Read on in Zechariah.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 3.
Huh.
Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
Come on.
For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it.
Come on.
And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it.
Come on.
I will bring it forth, saith the Most High of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely.
Come on.
By my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house.
Come on.
And shall consume it with the timber thereof, and the stones thereof.
He's going to burn it up. Consume means to burn. With the timber thereof, with the stones. This fire going to burn up the stones. Okay. So that's the power of that chariot that was above them as we came out of Egypt. It's coming to bring destruction. That's the UFO that they see. Oh, there was UFO sighting. But no, there ain't no UFO. Those are the chariots of the Most High God. There's no aliens going to jump out, no alien nation. Right? But angels coming out there. And when the angels come out them ships, it's going to be a problem. Okay? It's going to bring curse. That's the truth. Okay? As it is written. Get Joel 2:1. Book of Joel 2 verse 1. Read that.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm.
And sound an alarm. What's the trumpet being blown is truth. We sounding the alarm. We telling the people, you better wake up. All right? It's time. Now is the time to wake up because the hunters are coming. Read.
In an alarm in my holy mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble.
So he said, in my holy mountains. That means where Israel is. So let all the inhabitants of the earth tremble. Show them. Make them afraid. Tell them about what's coming. Read.
For the day of the Most High cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
Come on.
Verse 2. A day of darkness.
A day of what?
A day of darkness.
Why is it a day of darkness? Why is it so dark? Because how big was that chariot? 360 feet by 150. How many of them, maybe? Let's get it. Psalms 68, verse 17. Psalm 68, verse 17. This is not all the chariots that's created, but this is a vision being seen. Let's see how many chariots that he saw. Read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 17.
Come on.
The chariots of the Most High are 20,000.
Or what?
Are 20,000.
Can you imagine 20,000 of them? You ain't going to see no sun, no moon. All you're going to look up there and see what? Chariots. That's all you're going to see. As far as your eyes can see, chariots. Okay? 20,000. Read on.
Even thousands of angels.
Even thousands of angels with these chariots.
Those angels look like us?
Let's see. Ezekiel. Good question.
Drop on songs.
You can drop songs. We just want to get to 20,000.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind.
What's that whirlwind? It's the chariot. I look and behold the whirlwind. That's the chariot, right? Read on.
Came out of the north.
It came from the north. Read on.
A great cloud.
A great cloud. Was it? How great was it? How big was it? How big was it? A great cloud. 360 by 180. That's a huge cloud. Read.
And a fire enfolding itself.
A fire enfolding itself. It said like a fire in the sky. You ever see when they show the pictures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki when they blew the atom bomb up? Do you see the way that fire was folding on inside itself? Like a mushroom cloud, they call it. So now you get a more idea. When this chariot comes, it's going to look like it's on fire, and the fire is just enfolding on itself. What Esau uses is powerful telescopes, and he looks at the sun. What did he tell us about the surface of the sun? Is it just flat? It's like a light bulb? What did he say about it? What did he taught you in school? Is what? No, you can't look at hot. What do you see there? It's a fire enfolding. It's not just sitting there, it's actually moving. It's a flame, it's a spirit, it's fire, it's heat, it's all these things. All right? So this is an idea of what the chariot looked like. It's a fire and a heat enfolding on itself. Right? Read on.
And a brightness was about it.
And a brightness was there. Come on.
And out of the midst thereof has the color of amber. Out of the midst of the fire, also out of the midst thereof came like the likeness of 4 living creatures.
4 living creatures. Here come the angels. Let's see what these angels look like now. Read on.
And this was their appearance.
And this is what they look like. Read on.
They had the likeness of a man.
What is a likeness? What is a likeness? Somebody says likeness.
Shape similar?
Similar shape like a man. Right? Read on.
And every one had 4 faces.
Had 4 what?
4 faces.
They have 4 faces. How many sides to your head? How many sides do you have to your head? You got 4 sides, huh? Not counting the top, of course. 4 faces. You have 4 sides, each direction. You got a face on each direction. Read on.
And every one had 4 wings.
They had 4 wings. Read on.
And their feet were straight feet.
They got straight feet, but what kind of straight feet? Read on.
And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot.
Like the sole of a calf's foot. That means it looked like a hoof on this mighty angel. Okay. Now you know where they get these centaur, is that it? All right. They get a centaur from, right? They get that creature that they use in mythology, right? That have the hoof feet. Even I was going to use Beauty and the Beast, right? Didn't he have hoof feet? Beauty and the Beast?
No, but it's a Disney movie. I know a movie. There's another Disney movie.
Another movie, right?
Yeah, with some guy.
I'm in his fairy tale movies. Right. It was a silly movie, but read on.
And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
And they sparkle like what color?
Burnished brass.
What kind of brass?
Burnished brass.
What was the color of the Messiah? Who remembers?
He had the bleach color of brass as if they had burned it.
Burnished brass. Okay, the same thing. So this angel looked like what is called today a black man with some peculiar feet, right? And he had 4 faces, and he had wings. Are we starting to see what this angel looked like? Read on. Let's get some more details.
Verse 8. And they had the hands of a man.
And they had hands like this, so they had arms under their wings. So they didn't just have wings, but they had hands and arms like a man. Read on.
Under their wings.
Under their wings. So their wings were up above, but under that they had hands like and arms like men. Read on.
On their 4 sides.
Right.
And they 4 had their faces and their wings.
Come on.
Their wings were joined one to another.
Their wings were joined one to another. All right. So they stretched forth their wings, and each cherubim wings were touching each other. Read on.
They turned not when they went.
They didn't turn. So when they went, if they were going straight and they wanted to go that way, they didn't have to turn to go that way. They just went that way. All right, go ahead.
So that means they had 8.
No, they just had
This says right here.
Right.
They had hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides. So each side had
because let's go back. Let's read it again. Because now he's talking about multiple creatures. So you got to pick up that now he's talking about their multiple creatures, right?
Yeah, they was in italic.
Right. So it's not the individual creature having 4 arm hands. It was talking about all of them now. He's looking at all of it now and saying they 4 had 4 wings. They 4 had 4 arms. You see what I'm saying? Because now he's representing all 4 of these beasts that are before him. Each one of them, though, had 4 faces. If we follow it. Each one had 4 faces. There are 4 beasts. They all 4 had wings. They all 4 had arms and hands like men. So they didn't have 8 arms. They didn't have an arm coming out the middle here. They had them on the sides. Read.
Verse 8 again?
Yeah.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 8. And they had the hands of a man under their wings, on their 4 sides.
Right.
And they 4 had their faces and their wings.
And they 4 had their faces and their wings. Okay. Read on.
Their wings were joined one to another.
They were standing next to each other, and their wings was touching each other's wings. So they had their wings up. Right? Read on.
They turned not when they went.
They didn't turn because when they had to flip and go that way, they just flipped and went that way. And they moved like that. They didn't have to make any roundabout turns. Read.
They went every one straight forward.
Uh-huh.
As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had a face of a man.
Right. So see how I'm saying they 4 had a face of a man? So all 4 of them had this face, a man's face. Read on.
And the face of a lion.
All 4 of them had a lion's face. Read on.
On the right side.
On the right side of their head. So you got your face here, and on the right side of their head, they had a lion's face. Read on.
And they four had the face of an ox
Right.
on the left side.
And they had a face of an ox on the left side. Read on.
And they four also had the face of an eagle.
They also had a face of an eagle. That back here. Read.
Thus were their faces.
That's what their faces. Read.
And their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another.
Right? They had 2 wings up in the sky, touching each other. Read on.
And 2 covered their bodies.
And they had another 2 wings, which covered over their arms, where their arms came out. So kind of like what they call an X-wing fighter. Was it X-wing fighter or something? When he got it has 4 wings that come out of the bottom. There's a couple of insects like a dragonfly, right? A dragonfly has 4 wings, right? So that's the kind of mentality I look at it. It had wings here and wings here, right? But the bottom wings were enclosed. The top wings were spread out.
Which is it? I'm confused.
Which is what?
And one person said that he had 4 faces like a man, and now it's a
No. They 4 had 4 faces. 4 beasts, right? Each one of the beasts had 4 faces. But you have 4 beasts. Right? Because the angel will call beasts when they're in the angelic form, because there is no creature, right, that you can liken this beast to. So this angel was considered a beast because you actually see it. You can touch him when they come in this form. Because the angel could come in a spirit form where you can't touch him. Then you could come in a form where you're flesh, where the beast actually, you can touch that beast.
I'm having a hard time referring to an angel as a beast, especially if it's from God.
Well, a beast is not a bad thing. It's just a different form.
But when I think of a beast, I think of
something bad. It's not
I
bad.
think of a different.
No, a beast is not something bad. A beast means it's a different form, right? It's a form. It's a living creature. We're all living creatures. We all could be considered beasts, right? Because we're created.
That's what we've been programmed
To believe, yeah.
that angelic, it's white now.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good point. We've been programmed to believe when we think of angels, it's something lovely to behold, and you hear the harp harping and the people singing. When this thing went on the scene, you're gonna be afraid, right?
Some of the definitions of lower.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But all flesh is not the flame flesh. And this is what they understand. These are celestial bodies. These are not terrestrial bodies we're talking about. These are not bodies of the terrain. All our bodies are terrestrial bodies. They're of the earth. They're zinc, iron, phosphates in your body, just like it's in the earth. These are celestial bodies. They're not made of what we're made of. So when he called them a beast, this is a vision. He has to explain what he's seeing. So he calls them a beast. The author calls them a beast because he has to give you an understanding of what he sees. Okay? He saw these angels, these cherubims in their glorious power. He said, look at this massive beast with these hoof feet and these wings and all this power and all these faces. He didn't see nothing like this. He could only describe it as a beast.
Right.
He could only describe it that way and understand it wasn't something small. This thing is massive. When you read of what is it, Ahab with the donkey, and he was going down the path, the angel stood in the path and blocked the whole path. That's how big he was with the sword drawn. So this is not a small thing that he's seeing. These things are huge. All right? Read on. Read on with the scripture.
Verse 11. Thus their faces and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. And they went every one straight forward, whether the spirit was to go.
Right.
They went and they turned not when they went.
Come on.
As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire.
Like burning coals of fire. It was dark. Like you see a burning coal, it's dark, but it's still got a light that's resonating from inside of it. That's how they looked. That you could see there was power in it, but it was dark. Burnished brass, as it said, just like Christ. Right? Just like the color of our skin. Burnished brass. Okay. Right?
When you bring it out of Joel, is that another appearance? 2, 1 through 4.
Right.
3 to 10.
Yeah, I know it's all good. I was touching them, Joel. I mean, I was gonna go to 5. I didn't get there yet. But we're back at let's finish here at Exodus. I'm sorry, Ezekiel.
Verse 13. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps, and went up and down among the living creatures. And the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning.
See how fast they move? They move to and fro like a flash of lightning. So they wasn't just sliding around all slow and moving around. No, it was like lightning. They were here, then they were over there. They were over there. Then they over there. Right? Like you see that when that show Flash? Right? That's how they move. They were there, they were over there. They moved over there. That's how fast they move. Okay. So you learn a lot about these creatures, how powerful and how majestic they are. Okay. Read.
Verse 15. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces.
Right. So one wheel was by each creature. What is this wheel? It's talking about the chariot again. All right. So these chariots are the vehicles of these angels. Let me say it again. These chariots are the vehicles of these angels. Okay. That's the accounts that we have in the scripture. When these angels come on the scene, they come with this chariot. Okay. Now the angels can come in any form and fashion they choose to come in. All right. And how the Most High send them. They can come as a man, like the 2 men that came onto Lot. Right? Those were angels. They were getting ready to destroy the whole city of Sodom and Gomorrah. They came as men, but he knew they wasn't men. He knew they was more than men. Okay. When the chariot came to Mashiach Yahushua, to Christ, who came out the chariot? Moses. Right? And Elijah came and dealt with the Messiah on the mountain. Right? All they saw was a light. And then he dealt with them. Right? It was Moses and Elijah, right? Did I say that right? It was Moses and somebody came with him. I think it was Elijah. Huh? It was Elijah, right? Yeah. Good. Right. So these are understandings and encounters of angels and what they really look like. Angels are not babies with wings, right? They're not, looking like Brad Pitt or something. All right. These angels in their angelic form are so powerful and so scary that you would probably give up the ghost if it came down in front of you. Okay. It means business. Right?
And they were sparing us, but they were destroying or capturing all the other angels.
No, at this point, it's just a vision that was given to Ezekiel. They weren't doing nothing but showing Ezekiel. these visions so that he can record it in a book so we can have it today to read of what angels really look like. So we know that when Esau had his lies in his Hollywood, we know not to believe in that. Okay? We don't believe in them images he tried to portray angels to be. We know there's no angels in those so-called UFOs. We know that those are IFOs. All right? They're not aliens. There's no alien nation. There's no V and all that stuff that they've showed us over the years. Right? But those are our chariots of salvation. Okay? Which the angels of the Most High travel in, and the spirits of the Most High travel in these chariots. Okay? Go back to matter of fact, give me Isaiah 60 and 8. Isaiah 60 verse 8.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 8. Who are these that fly as a cloud, and has the doves to their windows? Surely the islands shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Most High thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel.
Right, so it says, who are these that fly like the doves into the windows? So when these angels come, they're going to be creating straight havoc. Okay? They're going to be popping up, zipping all over the place, destroying the enemy. Okay? Now you got more of a mental, clearer mentality of what is day. That's why I said the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. It's going to be death by way of chariots and angels. And they're going to be shooting all around the place, causing straight mayhem. Okay.
Okay. And what's going to happen? And that's the question I'm asking. What's going to happen with us? They're just going to go bypass us and attack those people.
Exactly. Let's get it. Matthews. Matthew, what is that, 24? 2 shall be in the, shall be in the city.
39.
24, 39?
No, you can start from verse 37. 24, 37, yeah.
24, 37.
Matthew 24, 37.
Hold on, let me get it. Matthew's 24, 37. Got it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Right. So as the days of Noah was, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Meaning that, what happened during the days of Noah? It was the people were living their lives, doing their wickedness, and then Moses closed that ark because it started raining. Right? Now Noah closed that ark because it started raining. Now Noah was telling the people, because it says Noah was preaching to the people, let them know. But the people say, that crazy dude, what else he built that big old boat for? We got time, we party, we got stuff to do. I'm going to the club. They got other stuff to do. They're not worried about what he's doing. He says it's gonna be the same way. Read on.
For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating,
right,
and drinking,
come on,
and marrying.
And marrying, they were, guys getting with girls, girls getting with guys, eating, drinking, partying. Man, they were living their own lives. It was all good in the hood till it started raining, right? And then the water started coming up out of the ground, right? Because the ground wasn't retaining the water. It was coming up from the bottom, coming down from the top. Uh-oh. All right, you better grow gills. Right? Somebody finna drown. Read on.
And giving it in marriage.
What? And giving into marriage. Read on.
Until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
Right. So what does it mean, giving into marriage? What is it talking about? And giving into marriage. No, not divorce. Nobody wants to say it. I know it's the Sabbath, but what's going on? They were laying with each other. Right? They were laying with each other. That's what they would do. That's what they're talking about, giving into marriage. Okay? They were having intercourse. They were eating, drinking, and having intercourse. They were pleasuring the flesh. Everybody understand that? That's what was going on. That's what's going on in the hood. Okay? When they stopped texting, right? Let me stop. Read on. I'm not gonna go through that. Read on. Read on.
And knew not until the flood came and took them all away.
Uh-huh.
So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. What is that coming? Remember, he said, behold, I come with my chariots and the fire. So he's telling how he coming. He said the people are going to be doing their own thing that day too. Just like when the Son of Man was on the scene. He said, behold, I come as a thief in the night, right? He ain't going to ring no bells. He ain't going to say, listen, I'll be there tomorrow, right? Read.
Verse 40. Then shall two be in the field.
So two going to be in the field, doing whatever they do,
The one shall be taken.
One shall be what?
Taken.
Right?
And the other left.
What does it mean, one shall be taken?
I wanted to ask you that. That confuses me.
Well, you're gonna get it all sorted out today. All right? One shall be taken. What does that mean? Nope. Killed.
Now, see, and the thing that
One shall be taken means they're going to be killed.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. And the reason why I asked you that confuses me is because looking at the Christian field of the rapture,
Right,
they
people will be
like an
taken out.
opposite.
So let's prove that taken means killed. Okay, let's get it. Get the Apocrypha. We'll get it. We'll get it. I know there's a lot of ideas. Right. Right. The white horse, I get it. Different time though. Different situation. But we'll get to that one too. There's a time to be brought up, but there's a time, this time, what we're talking about now, the taking is being killed. And we're going to prove it. All right. 2nd Ezra 13. And you can start with 21.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 21. The interpretation of the vision shall I show thee.
Okay.
And I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required.
Right. So we got to interpret the vision. Two is at the field. One taken, one left behind. Let's see what this is talking about. Read on.
Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind.
That are what?
That are left behind.
They're spoken of them that are left behind. Read on.
This is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty.
You know?
Know this therefore, that they which be left behind.
They that be what?
Left behind.
So we just read that. One was taken and one was left behind. Huh? They that be left behind, read on.
Are more blessed.
Are more what?
blessed
are blessed. Read on.
than they that be dead.
That be dead, because the taken were being killed. The taken were being killed at this point. The first visitation of the angels, people are going to get killed. The slaying of the Most High going to be made. Nobody going up yet. That's to come. That ain't happening yet. So we have to understand there's different stages to this thing. But this first visitation is a visitation of the anger of the Most High being quenched. All right? That thief of the night, he coming to take lives. And he's going to leave some behind. Now the left behind will be dealt with in a certain way. Okay. Now the left behind shall be taken up, gone to the wilderness and everything else that has to happen. That's the left behind blessing. That ain't the taken's blessing. Okay. Read on.
Verse 25. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
The same is he whom the Most High, the highest, has kept a great season.
Right?
Which by his own self shall deliver his creature. And he shall order them that are left behind.
And he shall do what?
Order them that are left behind.
And he shall order them that are left. He's dealing with those that were left behind. But what about those that were taken? They're what? They're dead. They were killed. There's nothing to say to them. He's dealing with the ones that were left behind. Right? Let's go back now to Matthew. Let's take another look at this.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 40. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken,
right,
and the other left.
Right. Read on.
Two women shall be grinding at the mill,
right.
The one shall be taken,
right,
and the other left.
Read on.
Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord will come.
Watch therefore, because you don't know what hour your Lord is coming. Read on.
But know this,
that
if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come,
the thief will come, the one that's going to what? Steal. So the ones that were taken, their lives were being taken. But the other were left behind. They were left alive. Read on.
He would have watched and would have not suffered his house to be broken up.
To be broken up. He would not suffer the ones to be taken. You see what I'm saying? Being taken is not a good thing. Right? Being taken is a problem. Right? That means you're gonna suffer that death. Get 2nd Ezra now. Go back to 2nd Ezra. Now go to the 16th chapter and the 22nd verse.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 22.
Come on.
For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine.
Right.
And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Come on.
And the dead shall be cast out as dung.
Right.
And there shall be no man to comfort them.
Come on.
For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down.
Come on.
There shall be no man left to till the earth.
Come on.
And to sow it.
Read.
The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them?
Come on.
The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them?
Read.
For all the places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another, and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left.
Tell me what left?
10 left.
So now take this picture. It's going to be rough. But the left behind is still more blessed than the ones that was taken. But they're going to be a walk in the park for those that was left behind. Because there might be just 5 of you in this area. Everybody else is dead. There might be 10 of you in this area. Everybody didn't make it. Okay. So now you got to get more of a vision of this day, of this time. It's not like what they taught you, and there's no cakewalk gonna happen. Not even for those that were left behind, for those that were taken. Those that are taken are finished. But those that are left behind, you're gonna have more work to do. Right? Until the Most High come and reap you. But he says, I'm going to come and get you from the four corners. And that's why he told us he's going to come get us from the four corners. From all the lands that we were scattered. Because everywhere they were scattered, people are going to be dead, but he's going to come and get us. But it's going to be some period of time where we're going to be there searching for another soul. Linking up with a few brothers and a few sisters. That's what we always tell our people. We all we got. You better get to know the brothers and sisters that's sincere in this word and this truth. Because the day come where it's going to be us looking at each other. You know what I mean? If auntie and grandma and all them ain't trying to get with this word, guess what? They might be taken. And who you going to have to deal with? Right? Your brothers and sisters in this truth. And we're going to have to know, and we're going to have to have that wisdom to say what to do next. Right? Where do we go next? What's next? What do we do? We're going to know because the Most High is going to give us that information. He's going to resonate that in our spirit. He's going to send a prophet. He's going to send one to guide people. And then we're going to start to motivate, come together, and then the Most High is going to take us. So that's the order of operations when it comes to our salvation. So we always got to put every perspective in this, every vision in its perspective time. That has to come to pass. So everybody see it clear? Right. Then we go to the wilderness. Then we get purged out. Then all that happens after this. All right. Deacon? That's right. That's right. That's the one he said he's gonna be talking to. He said the ones that are left behind are more blessed than the ones that were taken. Because the ones that's taken, they're gonna have to be, they have their day of reckoning too. That day of judgment. The day of judgment, they come here. That still had to come. Right?
Does that apply to the other nations as well? Do they get destroyed as well? Because I'm trying to understand, if they get destroyed as well, then how will they be in captivity?
Not all of them are going to be destroyed. No, it's not going to be a total. Some of them are going to be destroyed, but not all of them. Right? But when they're left by, just because of what you just said, they got to build up our walls. They got work to do, but they got to be weakened. They can't be weakened and they still have their full populations. They need to be brought down. They need to be humbled. Right? That's what the Valley of Jehoshaphat is all about. When he gonna gather all the nations. And he said he's gonna plead with all their flesh. He's not gonna kill everybody, but he's gonna kill a whole lot of them. Right? To the point where they're being weakened, right? To the point where they understand what power that they're coming up against. Right? So he didn't kill them all in Egypt. Did he kill all the Egyptians? No. There was many Egyptians were still alive. The firstborn was all killed. They were weakened. The army was drowned in the sea. That weakened them. The Pharaoh was killed. But there was many Egyptians still left in Egypt. Right? So that's the mentality we got to understand. We got to think. Right? That's the mentality. A lot will be killed, but not everybody. Not a total eradication. So now we understand more fully the days leading up to our salvation. Let's go back to Exodus. We're going to do all that with the chariots, huh? But we understand what chariots look like, angels look like, what they're going to do. Better to be left behind than to be taken. We got a lot of information. Okay, a lot of information. Let's go back to our Exodus. I think we were at, where are we at?
I think we have 14. No, I think not 22.
Okay.
Exodus 13:22. Exodus chapter 13, verse 22. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night, from before the people. Chapter 14. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn and encamp before Pi Haroth, between Migdol and the sea over against Baal-Zephon. Before it shall ye encamp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land. The wilderness has shut them in.
Right. So he felt like they would think that what? We went out into the wilderness and the wilderness killed us. That they got us trapped up in the wilderness. Read on.
Verse 4. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them.
Come on.
And I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his host, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Most High, and they did so.
Come on.
And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants were turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this? That they have let Israel go from serving us. And he made ready his chariot, and took his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and the captains over every one of them. And the Most High hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with a high hand.
Right.
But the Egyptians pursued after them.
Right. They went out with a high hand. What does that mean? The children of Israel went out with a high hand.
They had more than England.
They did, but because only came with 70 souls, and he left out of there 600,000 men, not even counting the women and children, but that's not what it means. Right? They what? That's right. They were with a high hand. They were helped to leave. The people said, "Go ahead, leave." You know, you tell somebody, "Leave." This is the high hand. Go, leave. Right? So they let them freely go. Right? But he said, that's why he's making a comparison. He said they left with a high hand, but now Pharaoh want to chase after them, as if they snuck out. Right? When they were leaving, everybody saw them leave. They were glad that they were leaving. They said, take our stuff too. Take everything you want. Just go. Right? They left with a high hand. So, I mean, they left willfully. The Egyptians would willfully let them go. Part. Well, until his heart became hardened again. And he said, what did we just do? We let these people go? We let them off? Get the chariots. Get my top warriors. We're going to go get them back. So we got 600 chariots and the Pharaoh, and they jumped and they got girded with their weaponry, and they said, we're going to go after them. Read on.
Verse 9. But the Egyptians pursued after them. Right. All the horses and the chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen, and his army, and overtook them, encamping by the sea, beside Pi Haroth, right, before Baal-Zephon.
Come on.
And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them.
Right, so they in the wilderness in the thick of things, walking through, and they look back on the hill, and they see Pharaoh and his hosts coming after them, charging, right? So you can imagine what they were like, oh, man, right? Remember, we wasn't no army. We was making brick without straw. We wasn't no mighty men. We were there just trying to live, right? We were just there trying to make it through the day, right? Here come the chariots and their mighty horses and their army gears and their weaponry coming over the hill. People looked up and said, "Oh man, here they come." All right, read on.
And they were sore afraid.
They coming to kill us for sure. Read on.
And the children of Israel cried unto the Most High.
Come on.
And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die?
They got so scared, they start turning on Moses. You brought us out here to get killed. Was there no graves in Egypt? We could have just left us alone in Egypt. We'd have grown old from all this work, and we'd have died. You got us out here being rebels. We in the wilderness. Now Pharaoh coming. He looks mad as hell. He's coming to kill us. Moses. So they put Moses on the chopping block now. Right? Read on.
Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us?
Why have you done this to us, Moses? Read on.
To carry us forth out of Egypt.
Come on.
Is not this the word that we did to tell thee in Egypt, saying,
What they say to him in Egypt?
Let us alone.
Leave him alone. A lot of people say that to us, and we try to bring this truth to them. They don't want to leave their church. They don't want to leave their job, what they're comfortable with, their comfortable life, to bring all this change. Leave us alone. That's the same spirit, man. When you come to this truth and you put on all this change ain't easy. It's difficult. It brings problems. It brings issues. It brings some level of suffering. But you go through it. Because once you finish with the change, then you get all the blessing. Okay? But you try to wake people up, and they say, man, leave me alone, man, with all that. You know? Well, they don't want to be bothered. That same spirit is there. That same spirit rose up against Moses. Why are you bothering us with this salvation? You know?
That we may serve the Egyptians.
Right? That we might say, why didn't you let us alone and let me just have my job, take care of my house, serve the Egyptians? Right? If I'm at 9 to 5, I finally got that promotion I've been looking for. I moved up from, making the bricks to carrying the bricks. I got my CDL. I can take the bricks over to I don't even got to get out the truck. Why are you bothering me with this salvation? Right? I got 401k, pension. Shoot, I'm clicking my social in a few. I'm almost done. And now you want to come with all this stuff? I don't need this. Right? You got to understand that same spirit dwells here today that was on the people then. There's no new thing under the sun. Everybody understand that? Yeah?
Esau gonna act the same way afterwards, even though there's not a lot of them left after the church.
All that's been prophesied. He knows in the scriptures. Right? He's going to have an opportunity to act the same way because he's going to be in captivity. Right? He's going to be in hard bondage. Right? He ain't going to handle it well. He ain't going to handle it, and we don't care how he handles it. He's going to have to handle it, though. Right? We care less of how he feels or what he's going to go through. Right? Right? We're going to be too full of joy and mirth, for our salvation has come. To be worried about what this joker feel about building these walls. He's going to have to build them. He don't care how we feel about it. He said we need to get a job. He don't care how you feel about getting a job. He said get a job. Pay your taxes. He don't care how you feel about paying your taxes. Pay them. Okay? Build his industries. Build his bridges and his skyscrapers and everything that he have. Build it. How you feel about it? You want to eat? Right? You want clothes on your back? You want a hot roof over your head? Get to work. Right?
They don't understand the blessing of our curse. Lived it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So when we finally do have to actually live it, we've already lived like that. So for us,
we're used to the curse.
Another day.
Yeah.
For them,
we got
so distraught.
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah.
That's why they so quick to kill themselves when they lose their million.
That's exactly
They
right.
don't know how to live like
Right. Stock market drop and they jump off the roof. We're like, we been broke. Bill collector call, they get all frantic. They're ready to kill themselves, the children, the wife, everybody's gonna die. Because the bill collectors are calling, I can't take the stress. Bill collector call us and you're like, put the phone down. Whatever. You get it when I get it. We can care less. Go
I
ahead.
heard about one Edomite woman in South Africa that lost her land. I'm guessing she inherited it from her ancestors. So she jumped off of a building.
Yeah, she took off a building. She lost it all. You see many stories, they kill everybody in the house. The wife, the dog. Dog don't care. They kill everybody. Kill themselves. Because they get stressed out. Well, yeah, they go get guns, go to the school, start shooting everybody at the school. They lose it. They don't know how to deal with stress. We don't know anything but stress. Matter of fact, the stress ain't even so stressful anymore. You know, it is what it is. If I got it, I got it. If I ain't got it, guess what? I don't have it. I'll leave when you put me out. How you like that, Joker? Catch me if you can. Repo Man got to come up with new tricks dealing with us. We done switched the plate on the car. He done drove by like, I think it's the car. Plate done switched. Yo, can I borrow your plate? All right, man, come pick it up, man. All right, I know what you're doing. All right. So we're prepared. But they're not prepared for what's coming. They're not prepared. They're going to lose it. They're going to lose it. They're going to be on straight. We got to help to keep them alive. Look, another one killed themselves? Dang. We don't have to kill them. We have to try to keep them alive so we can put them to work. All right? So we understand there's different mentalities, different manner of people. And it's going to be really rough on them. But they're going to have to do what they got to do. All right? So Pharaoh is pursuing us now. He's in his head, he's coming to kill you, Israelites. He's coming to take you out. How dare you leave from Pharaoh? Leave your positions, leave your job. How dare you leave what they have given to you and allowed you to work and build their cities? And you ungrateful Hebrews, leaving all this work behind. He's coming to kill you. Read on.
For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians.
Right. And our simple Negroes, right, say, man, it was better for us to just, man, we could have just stayed in the job. You know what I mean? I had a 2-bedroom apartment. I was okay. A 2-bedroom, right? Read on.
Then that we should die in the wilderness.
Then die in the wilderness, die being freed, die no longer having to get up and slave for our slave master. I'd rather die out there. But the mentality of our people, most of our people, nah, I'm good. I'm going to stay right here. Read on.
Verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not.
Right.
Stand still.
Come on.
And see the salvation of the Most High.
That's right. Be still and watch how the Most High works. Read on.
Which he shall show you today.
And that's what you got to tell our people today. To know. Free yourself and watch how the Most High enhances your life. The best thing that can happen to you is this truth come to you. Yes, the change is difficult, but the blessing that comes with this is immeasurable. You can't measure the blessing that comes from giving yourself to the Most High, putting on his commandments. Read.
For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them no more again forever.
That's right. Moses is speaking bold. He said, you see them Egyptians coming? You ain't going to never see them again. Read on.
The Most High shall fight for you, and he shall hold your peace. And the Most High said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thy hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground, through the midst of the sea.
Right.
And I behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will get me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen.
Right. So you see how the Most High was able to tell them what's going to happen? First, he tells them, do these things because this is what's going to happen if you do this. He's telling them what's going to happen before it happens. When you read in the scriptures, there's many things that the Most High said is going to happen that hasn't happened yet. When it happens, right, that is prophecy being fulfilled. When we went into slavery, that was prophecy being fulfilled. When you woke up one day and realized you was a Hebrew Israelite, that's prophecy being fulfilled. It was prophesied that you one day would be revived, that you one day, one generation would be woken up. All was prophesied in the Bible. So as those things were prophesied and came to pass, you can only believe that the things that haven't come to pass will come to pass. Everybody understand that? This is your faith being built up. The more things you learn that was prophesied and actually happened, is the more things you know that was prophesied is going to happen. Read.
Verse 18. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Most High, which have granted me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the angel of the Most High, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them.
Right, so what that angel talking about? The chariot. What's in the chariot? The angel. So he said the angel moved from the chariot, moved from leading them to now going behind them in between Pharaoh and the Israelites, in between the Egyptians and Israelites. Read.
And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them.
Come on.
And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel.
Read.
And it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that one cannot come near the other all the night.
Come on.
And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Most High caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night.
Come on.
And made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided.
So it took some time. He didn't just stretch forth his hand and the ocean opened up. Like they do, what is that? What was that silly movie? Devin Almighty, something Almighty. Devin Almighty, right? He did, right? It didn't happen that way. All night, the wind was blowing the water, and the water was receding and receding. It took time. The chariot sat in between the camp of the Israelites and the camp of the Egyptians, right? As the Egyptians got closer and closer, the chariot came down and became a barrier in between the two parties. Read on.
Verse 22. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon dry ground.
Right.
And the waters were a wall unto them.
Right.
On their right hand and on their left.
Right. So the waters gathered on the right side and the left side and left them dry land to walk through. So they're literally looking at the ocean next to them. Read on. Kind of like walking through an aquarium. Right? Read on.
Verse 23. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea.
Come on.
Even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning, whilst the Most High looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians,
right,
and took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily.
So the horses pull a chariot, and they're coming through after these Hebrews. They're coming through the ocean. They're looking at the ocean on the right hand and the left hand, but they're focused on that anger, that hate for these Israelites that left. So they're racing through there. And as they're racing through, the wheels start popping off the chariots. Horses falling down. They can't pull the chariot, right? Everybody falling down. Calamities start happening. They crashing into each other. A big pileup, right, is happening with all these Egyptians racing after the Hebrews. Read on.
So that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel.
Right, so that the Egyptians realized when all the chariots wheels start popping off that the Most High is getting involved. How is this possible? No, the Father is fighting for them. Let's run the other way. Let's run back. Read on.
For the Most High fighteth for them against the Egyptians.
Come on.
And the Most High said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand over the sea,
Right?
that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians.
Come on.
Upon their chariots and upon their horsemen.
Read.
And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea.
Come on.
And the sea returned to its strength when the morning appeared.
Come on.
And the Egyptians fled against it.
Come.
And the Most High overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea.
Come on.
And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them.
Right?
But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea.
Right.
And the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Thus the Most High saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw the great work which the Most High did upon the Egyptians.
So the Egyptians start washing up on the seashore. The bodies, all of them that was drowned. So the Most High, by the will of the Most High, had Moses drown all these Egyptians. Okay. So when we think of these stories, it's not too far-fetched that the Most High is going to destroy our enemies today. It's not far-fetched. Because he had Moses raise his hand. He said, raise your hand and drown them. That's the God that we serve. It's not an all-encompassing God. The Heavenly Father never reached out to the Egyptians and tell them, listen, keep Torah, be righteous to the Israelites. He let the Egyptians be as wicked as they are, so that what? They can receive the judgment by the hand of the Heavenly Father. That's the power that we serve. That's the true and living God. All right, read on.
And believe the Most High and his servant Moses.
Right? Is that's the end of 14, right?
Yeah.
All right, so it's 3 o'clock. So at this time, we're going to take a relatively quick break, a half an hour break, and then we're going to continue with chapter 15 and up to verse 26. So which is basically the whole chapter 15. So we'll continue with chapter 15, so you can take your break at this time. Come? Oh, yeah. Still got it all.